Hello and welcome to Star Citizen Sunday with me, Ryan, aka Mac. This is a weekly show which covers everything from the world of Star Citizen over the past week. Links to everything discussed can be found in the description below, so let's get on with it. This week we take a look at the Star Marine map Echo 11, plus delve into the new background animations for NPCs. So Around the Verse came from Austin, Texas this week. Sandy and Chris Roberts started off by explaining that 2.6 is being played every day. They have people playing Star Marine every day as well. They're working on the map and the game mode adjustments. The network sync optimizations are coming along well as well. This will reduce lag, etc. They're also making sure that props are destructible to all. There'll be Helmet 2.0, which is kind of Item 2.0, but for helmets. Combat emotes as well are being hooked up. Arena Commander will be having a big pass. They're going further on with flight changes. They're working on missiles, more variation and personality to how they behave. Missiles will also be persistent between game modes, and you'll be able to get some pickups. And then there's new UI coming along as well. 2.6 also brings some new missions, plus additions to Grimhex. Could it be racing? Hopefully. And the Vanguard Hoplite and Drake Herald. So after that we had the Austin Studio update, talking about lighting first for Star Marine. They're building a more tactical gameplay experience. They're not using the lighting to highlight the player like they do in other games. The map we saw was an abandoned pirate station called Echo 11. All the original lighting structures will likely be unusable. They've got temporary lighting, which is flickering, sort of moody lighting. You need to be more cautious when entering areas. It has lots of rooms, all connected by tight corridors. Each room has its distinctive feel to help with callouts. So from there, we spoke to the QA team who are testing 2.6. They say the ship model is having a big change. This is a balance pass to ships, weapons, missiles. Also, we know the speeds are changing. Every day they're having meetings regarding the 2.6 live release to discuss blockers and updates on the build. They are very focused on Star Marine and having cross-studio playtests where each studio comes together to play Star Marine together and try and find some more bugs and get them fixed. After that, we spoke to the back-end server team. They are working on admin customer support tools, plus the leaderboards and matchmaking for 2.6. They're doing a server rewrite, which is almost complete. And the way you'll get into a lobby, you'll form a lobby with your friends so you can chat together and then it'll jump you into the game. A bit more like Overwatch style is what they called it. So we had the community update with Tyler Whitkin, who told us that the Asperia Prowler art contest is still ongoing. This is going to be drawn on the 11th of November and revealed during the anniversary live stream, which is happening on the 18th of November. Must put that in your diaries. MVP goes to Lundfossi for his Starship42.com, where you can check out all the ships in the 3D viewer. Highly recommend checking that out. An awesome website. Congratulations, sir. And to finish off, we had a behind-the-scenes look at animation. So it kind of goes from concept to game. Obviously, design are the first people who need a particular animation. So they started off. There's lots of variables to determine what or how to get the animations. Ones we saw was sitting and eating at a mess hall table. They need to create this table to the correct dimensions for the PCAP. So build it as a prop. Then give the actors directions on how to interact. Once they interact with it, or once they've initially got close to it, they can do whatever they like, so they can sit down however they like, and this will create the little diversity, rather than every single character, NPC character, doing the exact same animation each time. A lot of these are Squadron 42 assets that we're seeing, but they'll also come and be used in the persistent universe. We saw a chap waiting in line for the mess hall, plus a janitor using his mop and bucket, who will also have walk cycles. They will create multiple animations for each person, so sitting in a chair, you can be able to play. You'll see him playing with his headphones, picking his nose, doing all sorts of stuff, just to give them more life. We also saw some NPCs in their beds, where they're sleeping, they're adjusting, they're sort of getting themselves comfortable. Lots of minute details, all of which players can do themselves. I'm not too sure to what extent. To finish off with, we saw the PAW tool, which is the personal arc welder. They didn't shoot any mocap for this. It's all been hand keyed. You can use this on your ships, on your buildings, pretty much anything that needs to be repaired. Weapons can be picked up and examined, and we also saw, to finish off with, them using a data pad which can be picked up and walked around with. Anyway, that was ATV, short and sweet. Let me know your thoughts, guys. So first up in Reverse the Verse from Austin, Texas was the senior animator. And the initial question for him was to do with the NPC animations in Astro Armada. Can you give any examples? If you don't know, Astro Armada is the ship sales room, which we find in ArtCore. And he says they're still deciding on what ships to sell there. For now, it looks like they will cater for all kinds of ships, so every single ship. But I think different landing zones, well, different Astro Armadas or ship dealers on these landing zones will sell different items, different ship styles. But first of all, when you walk in, your character or the NPC character will be greeted by a staff member. If you're going to buy a ship, you can sit down at the desk to get served, very much like how you buy a car. I'm not sure to what level the ship dealer will talk to you, or will give you examples of different ships, or whether you can take them for test flights, who knows. But he did say that they shot some mocap in Austin, and one scenario that they did shoot was a couple coming to buy a ship. Again, like buying a car, the husband maybe wants the sexy M50, whereas the wife wants the sort of minivan style ship because they've got kids and so forth. So she's thinking practically, he's just wanting this M50. He says that you can see the husband pleading with the wife to get the M50. She leaves the store. They have a little argument, and he says you can see it unfold through the animations, and if you're at the distance, you don't even need to hear what they're saying. You can see instantly what is going on in that relationship. It does sound like they will put so much effort into these animations. Obviously, we're only seeing the ones that are necessary for things like Squadron 42, but when it comes to the persistent universe, there will be many that just create this realistic atmosphere that will make it feel alive. So next question for him was, do you plan on different animations depending on whether the characters are civilians, pirates, or soldiers? Will we also see personalities, like if you're rich, will you walk with your chest out more, or, if they're clumsy or a shady character, can we determine this? And he says, yes, at the moment they are trying to get the base in now, but they are excited to get the shady parts of Artcore populated. You may see someone doing like a dodgy deal through the mesh fences. You will feel immersed through the NPC actions from wherever you are in the verse. Question 3 was just 2 words, and it's more emotes, ? And he says there's many they want to do, but again, they're getting the base set done first, and then they'll tackle the wish list for others. So final question for this chap was to do with the creature animation. Do you mocap animals? And he says yes and no. So he says there's many ways to do it. Traditional animators say it's best to do it all by hand, sort of hand keyed. But he says it's much quicker to do it physically with puppeteering, so I'm sure they will use both and all methods. After that, we spoke to a lighting artist, in particular regarding 2.6 maps. And we saw this little footage, or sort of a flyby of Echo 11, which is the first map we will see. This is a refinery station taken over by pirates, which has then been divided into pirate factions for the last so many hundred years. It's kind of had no planning structure at all. It's all just been tacked onto each other, and things grow and added, and you just plug in wires when you need them. Very much similar to the sort of Drake style or the Drake aesthetic. Comrade 849 does not mean Tessa will be there. Star Marine does have some lore, but it's not present day stuff, it's from the past, so Tessa would not have existed in this environment. He says each room has a distinct vibe. One room has like a boxing ring, which includes a scoreboard, so they're highlighting the fact that fighting went on there. He said it's a very, very big map. He said it's massive, it's one of the largest maps they've done, but they want each player to be able to find their way around with each room being so distinct, so you can call out things that, like the props that are in there, so you'll know it as the blue room or the blue tech room, or the boxing room, so you can help each other maneuver around these maps. Anyway, next question for him was, how does the lighting affect the gameplay? Do you discuss this with designers? And he says, yes, there's lots of pre-production and conversations with the environmental team as well. It's very iterative, the add and take away stuff. So if they need a bit more reflections, they'll ask for a puddle or a reflective surface. Next question, will player-generated light sources dynamically interact with the environment? And he gave an example of maybe a red light on his armor. Will that tint the local lights? And he says if you had a red flashlight, then it would. So any flashlights will give off a dynamic light source. If it was just red armor, it wouldn't. So it wouldn't just reflect. If you were in a white room with a lot of light on you, the red armor wouldn't reflect onto the walls. But he did say that they are planning some tech to allow for these reflections to colour the environment. And this is in real time. Don't know when it's coming, but it's going to be impressive when it does. So, second to last question. Destructible lights or anything. Is there anything we can destruct? And he says the goal is to have this, yes. So, for example, if you were about to enter a room, which you know the enemies are in there, you can then throw in an EMP grenade, which will disrupt their thermal images or whatever, or even the helmet. The mechanics aren't in yet, and Item 2.0 will really help with this. They are overhauling the lighting. There will be lights that you can disable. There will be EMP-able lights. He says lights will react differently if you switch off the generator compared to shooting them out. Also, there will be emergency lighting if the power went out. But we do know that there's, glass will be destructible, and as we heard in the monthly report, destructible barrels are being worked on. So, final question, what's next for this lighting artist? He says they're working on the 3.0 landing sites, so Microtech, Crusader and Hurston, they are getting the field together for these environments. Things are going to start coming out thick and fast, I hope. Anyway, that was RTV. Let me know your thoughts. Also, this week we had a new data cache post which I have not read yet. However, it appears to talk a little bit about a giant research station. Lawmaker's Guide to the Galaxy this week brought us the Layer system. Layer 3 was the location for the Homestead video, which we saw at CitizenCon. There is a sale running currently for discounted Super Hornets in which you could save yourself $20. So if you've always wanted a Super Hornet, now is a good chance to pick one up. And finally, the latest monthly report is available. Do not worry if you don't have time to sift through it though, as you can check out my video here where I pick apart the whole post and tell you the need-to-know facts. So that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you for watching, and thank you to our subscribers, plus a massive thank you to our patrons as you make this possible. If you like what we do and want to help us make it better, follow the link in the description to our Patreon page to learn more. Missile inventory and pickups and Pirate Swarm rebalance. Squadron 42, they have worked on elements of the vertical slice, which is the showcase they're going to show us. This section of...
You just shot the box.
Oh no!
Did you get hit?
I literally...
No, what are you doing?
Whoa!